We study about coordinate planes in this lecture. So when we say a coordinate plane, in the coordinate plane, any point will take the form x, y, where x is called the abscissa and y is called the ordinate. And how do we plot it? We have a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. So this is the horizontal axis and this is the vertical axis. Generally, we represent the horizontal axis as x-axis and the vertical axis as y-axis. On the horizontal axis, we plot our independent variable. So x is the independent variable when I talk about x, y. And y-axis, we plot the dependent variable. The point of intersection of x and y-axis is 0, 0. And this is the origin or the reference point. This is analogous to the concept of 0 in a real number line. On a real number line, 0 is the reference point. On a two-dimensional plane, 0, 0, that is origin, is the reference point. Now, whenever we make the XY plane or the 2D plane, these two axes are perpendicular to each other and they divide the plane into 4 quadrants. This is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. Now, whenever I make an angle, we will make an angle from the positive direction of x-axis like this. Okay. So in the first quadrant, the angle theta is between 0 and pi by 2. Pi by 2 is 90 degrees. Note that when I talk about the first quadrant, theta equals to 0 degree and theta equals to 90 degrees are not included. Therefore, the positive x-axis and the positive y-axis are not included in the first quadrant. When we talk about the second quadrant, the angle has to be between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. 90 degrees is pi by 2, 180 degrees is pi. Again, we will not include the angle 90 degrees and pi. Pi represents the negative x-axis, 90 degrees represent the positive y-axis. In the third quadrant, we will have 180 degrees less than theta less than 270 degrees, which is pi less than theta less than 3 pi by 2. And in the fourth quadrant, we will have 270 degrees less than theta less than 360 degrees, which is 3 pi by 2 less than theta less than 2 pi. So the entire 2D plane is divided into 4 quadrants. So how many quadrants we have? We have 4 quadrants and x-axis and y-axis. X-axis and y-axis are not a part of these quadrants. So quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4 and x-axis and y-axis together make the coordinate plane. Okay. So for example, we want to represent the point 2, 3 in the coordinate plane. So how are we going to represent it? This is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. I want to represent point 2, 3. This first point should be plotted on the x-axis. So suppose 2 is here. The second point, which is ordinate, should be plotted on the y-axis. Suppose it is here. So we look at where they intersect on the plane. So this is the point 2, 3 in the plane. Now, what is the distance of any point A, B from origin? Okay. We always talk about absolute value of a number on a real line. We have already studied that if this is my reference point 0, this is x. The absolute value of x was the distance of x from 0. So here, something analogous to absolute value of x is the distance of AB from 0, 0. So suppose this is the point A, B. So this is A, this is B, and this is the line joining 0, 0 and A, B. So basically, I want to find the distance OA. Okay. Now, this is 90 degrees. So if we look at this diagram, suppose this is M. So if we look at triangle OMA, it is a right angle triangle. So in a right angle triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the base and the perpendicular. If we look at the base has length A. If we look at the perpendicular has length B. So OA square becomes equals to A square plus B square. So OA, which is nothing but the distance between AB and 0, 0, that is the origin, is under root A square plus B square. We do not take the negative sign because the distance can never be negative. So this is the distance of AB from 0, 0 on a coordinate plane. Now, to generalize it, now suppose you have 2 points. Okay, so let's have a formula for distance between 2 points in a coordinate plane. So suppose we have x1, y1, and here we have x2, y2. This is the point A, this is the point B. Now suppose we want to find out the distance AB. So again, let's see what is going to happen. Now this point is x1, this point is x2, this point is y1, and the point corresponding to this is over here y2. If we look at this length, this is going to be x2 minus x1. If we look at this length, this is going to be y2 minus y1. This entire thing is y2 and this thing is y1. So y2 minus y1 is this length. This entire thing is x2 and this thing is x1. So the difference is x2 minus x1. So again, by Pythagoras theorem, AB square is equal to AM square plus MB square. Okay. So AB square is equal to AM square, which is x2 minus x1 whole square, MB square, which is a y2 minus y1 whole square. So we take the positive square root because the distance cannot be negative. So the distance between 2 points on a coordinate plane is given by this formula, AB. So now you are given any 2 points, you are capable enough to calculate the distance between those 2 points on a coordinate plane.